Zainab Chaudry is National Spokesman for the Council on American-Islamic Relations and joins me on the line now. Welcome to you, Zainab. Obviously, both sides blame each other for the breach of this, but what's most interesting for me is that the United States is sending the Vice President, J.D. Vance, and also its envoy, Steve Witkoff, to Israel. They should be there on Monday, and it's reported the focus is on getting this peace deal, let's call it, to phase 2. Do you think that will prevent any more breaches if they can move this forward to phase 2?
Well, let's be clear. From the moment that the agreement was announced, Israel has continued to block aid. It has continued to restrict fuel. It has continued to carry out targeted killings under flimsy pretenses. And even in the very beginning of this particular ceasefire agreement, there has been very little faith amongst especially Palestinian families locally here in the DC area that this would actually transpire to a long-lasting ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire that would lead to the unrestricted flow of humanitarian aid. We have been here before many times. We have seen the Netanyahu regime time and time again renege on the terms of the ceasefire negotiations. And we have seen that, unfortunately, they have not demonstrated bad faith or good faith intentions in actually executing their side of the deal. So unfortunately, it's very difficult to see that this is going to lead to a path where there will be genuine, lasting peace for the Palestinian people without being subjected to this bombardment by the Israeli government funded by U.S. tax dollars. And we are calling on the Trump administration to hold the Netanyahu government accountable for their repeated violations. Since the beginning of the ceasefire negotiations, this particular turn, there have been over 49 reported incidents when the Israeli government has violated the terms of the ceasefire, this particular deal. So without any accountability from the Trump administration, obviously there's no one to hold the Israeli government accountable. The United Nations has not been effective in being able to rein in this reign of terror that the Israeli government has unleashed upon the Palestinian people. And unfortunately, the suffering is continuing.
I mean, a lot of people said that the only way there was ever going to be peace was if the United States used its power, its leverage over Israel to get this across the line. It seems, I mean, Donald Trump seems like he is trying to get a permanent peace in place. Do you think he will achieve this?
So, in order for there to be permanent peace, we have to also speak about justice. And unfortunately, the track record does not speak well for itself. We have seen the United States government has not only sanctioned and allowed the genocide, 2-year-long genocide that the Israeli government has waged in Gaza. We have funded it. Our government has sent the arsenal that the Israeli government and the Israeli military has dropped on Gaza with impunity, and also the targeted killings in the West Bank, for example. And so it's very difficult, when we have government officials who are speaking out of both sides of their mouths, right? On one side, they're saying that they want to broker a ceasefire deal that is lasting, that is tangible, that is going to lead to results that are going to actually lead for peace and stability in the region. But at the same time, when we are seeing evidence of numerous targeted killings and attacks and bombings of Palestinians, and there isn't any consequence for violating the terms of the ceasefire, it's very difficult to imagine how any person who's been following these developments can have any faith in any sort of tangible ceasefire negotiation.
I keep mentioning a couple of major points of what would be phase 2. If this is going to, move towards peace and perhaps a Palestinian state, a couple of the key points which need to be discussed by all those involved would be the Israeli army withdrawing. That's supposed to happen in phases. There's also a requirement, or certainly a question, that they want Hamas to disarm. Do you think that we'll see both of those things happen? They seem to be kind of key to there being a peace.
Well, we've seen as Palestinian families have resumed trying to return to their homes in bombed cities and towns, including in northern Gaza. Unfortunately, they have been subjected to violence and to targeted killings. And if the Palestinian people who are resuming their journey back to their homes in these areas where obviously their entire towns and homes have been decimated, are not able to they're not able to have the safety and the guarantee of safety and assurance that they can return without being subjected to further persecution and oppression and bombing, then it's hard to move to phase 2 because we are still at phase 1. And unfortunately, our government has not been able to effectively rein in the Netanyahu regime. They have not been able to effectively call on them to end this carpet bombing of Gaza. Just yesterday, 11 members of a family were targeted and killed in yet another attack And these are gross violations of the ceasefire negotiations, and it undermines the diplomatic credibility of our government that is brokering in part along with other governments this ceasefire deal, and it demonstrates that the U.S. has failed to respond decisively. We are complicit. Our government is complicit in undermining this negotiation.
Yeah, I understand your point. It's difficult to move to phase two if you feel like phase one isn't being respected. Appreciate your point. Zainab Chaudry, National Spokeswoman for the Council on American-Islamic Relations, my guest.